right, studio time check says it's 36 minutes past 6 a.m. Today, the 23rd day in the ninth month of the year 2025. A beautiful Tuesday, a wonderful Tuesday to be alive. Good morning to you, dear listener. Thank you for tuning to Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio, your number one family radio in the whole of Oyo State, where we take a look at headline, where we basically bring you wholesome content for the consumption of every single member of your family. If you're a part of a family, trust me, there's a program for you right here on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Okay, so thank you for tuning in now. Before we move on, I would like you to please follow us on social media platforms. You find us on Facebook at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. You find us on X at Wells Radio 893, on Instagram at Wells Radio 893. Also, you can listen to us directly via our website. That's www.wellsradio893.com. You can also find us on a couple of radio directories, online radio box, radioguardian.com, and so on and so forth. So please listen even if you're out of town. My name is Bolanle Oduekun Ayola. The program this morning is Perspectives Unlimited, where we take a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in the country. We take a look at these headlines, we talk about them, we help you make sense, of these stories. We also get your contribution into the conversation on the show. So basically what that means is that you're able to put a call through to air your, feelings about what we're talking about. And I'll give out the phone lines, when it's time. Okay, so just stay with us. You're welcome once again. Perspectives Unlimited is the show. We'll take a look at the front pages of the dailies this morning. Let's see what they have for us. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, the lead headline says, flood disaster. States intensify action as 232 die, 121,000 displaced. NEMA lists Niger and Adamawa, Lagos among worst hit states in 2025 as farmlands, homes destroyed. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. More headlines. FX reserves hit $42 billion, highest in 6 years. You find that on page 23 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Fubara consults Tinubu on Rivers peace sustenance. That's on page 12. NBS announces 4.23% economic growth. Labor differs. That's on page 23. More headlines. Olubado Ladoja coronation rites begin with prayers. That's what is on page 12 of the Punch newspaper this morning. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, Parliament Women's Seats Bill gains ground. That story is on pages 3 and 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. More headlines. DSS interrogates Malami over attack on his convoy. You find that on page 11. FCTA clears kidnappers hideout in Abuja. You find that on page 16 of the Daily Trust this morning. Benue attack, corpses of 8 missing policemen recovered. That's weird. You find that on page 5 of the Daily Trust. And in sports, Dembele Bonmati crowned at 2025 Ballon d'Or Awards. That's on page 31 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Some of the lead stories on the Guardian newspaper similar. Fubara declares peace with Wike after meeting Tinubu at Aso Villa. U.S. reiterates visa ban for corrupt Nigerian officials. We'll also have Anambra 2025, how female power brokers may shape Guba race. These are just some of the leading stories on the Guardian newspaper. Also, some of the leading stories on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. We have procurement. Federal government rejects U.S. reports alleging lack of transparency. I will also see why we can't return to regionalism from Tanko Yakasai. No visa for corrupt Nigerian officials. That's from the U.S. mission. This and many more we're going to be talking about on Perspectives Unlimited this morning. But I'll bring on our analyst on the show this morning, Mr. Chukwemeka Munachi. So good morning to you.
Good morning, Bola.
How do you do?
I'm okay.
I like that, you're very consistent with how you feel in the mornings. I'm not that consistent, to be honest. So tell us, what's the secret?
The secret is that I always wake up with gratitude, and I always wake up happy. In fact, there was a guy I scolded this morning because he fond of waking me up to begin to engage me in a video chat. He's a Ghanaian, calling me from Ghana all the time. Yes, as your mentor, you need to give me breathing space. And I told him that I set purpose to my day. You don't have to just wake me up and begin to. I told him, you understand? I don't want it, because if you allow people to start messing up with the first
few hours
of your day, it is gone. So I'm always happy. And why I'm always happy, I look at things from the perspective that everything will turn out well, because the good book told me that all things work together. You understand? No matter how bad it is, I always look at the positive side. That's why I believe that there's no mistake in life, only lesson. Yes. If you understand it that way, that there are no mistakes in life, only lessons, you will not beat up yourself when you stumble. That's and what keeps you a failure is when you fail, you didn't wake up, you didn't get up. That's when you become a failure.
So you keep trying and trying again.
Yes, wake up again, get up.
So you see, that's a good perspective. And so that's, if you woke up this morning and you woke up, you weren't happy, right now you can reset and have another chance at it. Okay, look at it from the perspective that the cup is half full,
yes,
not half empty.
Yes,
and then work towards getting the cup, to get full. All right, thank you so much for that, Chukwemeka.
Thank you, brother.
All right, let's get to the business of the day. Headlines making the rounds across the different dailies in the country. Chukwemeka, last week, the president, there's this headline across the dailies: Fubara consults Tinubu on Rivers, peace sustenance. Now, last week, when President Tinubu, will I say lifted or put an end, well, the 6 months were over anyway, he addressed Nigerians and said, oh, well, we can now say that there's peace and all that, and so no more sole administratorship in Rivers State, and the governor can come back. The governor came back, a day after everyone expected him to come. And surprisingly, Rivers people actually seemed glad to have Governor Fubara back, Governor Siminalayi Fubara back. And now that the governor is back, there's so many things. The House has said that they must probe what the sole administrator has used the money of the state to do, the projects he has supposedly done, and how he has spent the money, his stewardship over the past 6 months. And then we got a report yesterday that, well, he didn't directly say, but I think from one of the special assistants who they said spoke on his behalf, spoke with a media, a print media house, that no, they're not the one that put him in the sole administratorship, and so they cannot demand for him to, give an account of his stewardship. Let's start from there.
Okay. What is playing out in Rivers State, there is nobody who doesn't like peace. We all love peace, but peace has a price. You understand? If you think that the world is peace is important for progress, but peace has qualification. Because if you go to the graveyard, it's a very peaceful place. But is it peaceful? It is not. It's a place where some books would have been written, songs were not sung, things were not invented, and all of them went down to the grave. Yes, it is good to have peace in Rivers State for progress to be ushered in. But the issue is this: what kind of peace do we have in Rivers State? Is it the peace of the graveyard? Is it a place where people practically walk on eggshell in order not for them not to, to upset the apple cart? Now, the people of Rivers State are asking for accountability, which is the bane of leadership in Nigeria. I have repeatedly said it, not on this platform, in so many places, that any society where there is no accountability, citizens don't demand accountability, that society is in ruin. You will always have profligacy. You will always have men who believe in debauchery, who can put their hands into the common tilt and make do with what they want. No society thrives without accountability from leadership. And it is playing out right now in Rivers State. You have been there for 6 months. And remember all the brouhaha that went with that imposition of state of emergency. how the president was accused of imposing it without consultation with the House. And he did it before getting approval. And all the illegality that surrounded the declaration of state of emergency on March 8th this year. Now you have received a lot of money on behalf of River State people. And they are now asking you to come and give account. And you are saying that they didn't appoint you, you cannot give account to them, you are only accountable to the president. And I'm asking, does the immunity of the president cover IBAS? That's the question. And I'm still waiting for legal luminaries who still have them in Nigeria to give us the interpretation. Whether IBAS is free to go with what he has done in River State. You conducted a local government election. You people came out. If people came out because you told them to come and vote, and they voted in the so-called election that they did. Now you are not telling the same people that came out to vote that you are not answerable to them. How does it tally? How does it add up?
Thank you for that. Now, in avoidance of doubt, the sole administrator of River State for the past 6 months, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, retired, presented a budget which was estimated at about 1.48 trillion naira, and the House passed the same budget figure, 1.485 trillion naira, after a legislative process. Okay, so according to the approved budget, the breakdown was 120.8 billion naira for debt servicing, 287.38 billion naira for recurrent expenditure, non-debt, and 1.077 trillion naira for capital expenditure. That's a lot of money, and we hope that they can, come. But let's go to this, what's making the rounds on the dailies today as regards River State. Now, yesterday, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara apparently in Abuja said he's at peace with his political benefactor. He also noted, this is from The Punch, he also noted that proper peace has returned to the state after a months-long feud that triggered an emergency rule in March. Speaking to journalists after meeting President Bola Tinubu at the Aso Rock Villa in Abuja, Fubara stressed that he has resumed his duties in an atmosphere of peace and cooperation. These are his words. As far as I am concerned, we have made peace. Fubara and his principal are working together. Apparently, he was talking about himself and his predecessor, Nyesom Wike. So apparently he was yesterday at the Aso Villa to, see the president. He said he was there on a courtesy call and also an opportunity to seek direction following the expiration of the 6-month emergency rule that saw his suspension and those of key political leaders of the state. Do governors get their direction from the president?
Let me tell you something, Bola. That is the hybrid democracy we are practicing, because we lack strong institutions to enforce whatever we call our laws. In a democracy, true democracy, there are laws, there are institutions that give interpretation to whatever that plays out in the country. But what we are practicing in Nigeria is Baba Sope democracy.
Baba Sope.
Baba Sope democracy. That's what we are. That's the way I describe what we are practicing in Nigeria. Baba Sope democracy. You understand? Which is not democracy. You understand? You when you are the governor of a state, and imagine New York State governor going to Trump to go and ask Trump, what do I do? Imagine California State governor going to Trump people. They may not even see Trump that is for a very long time, but yet because they have institutions who can check the excesses of the governors. But here, that's why they don't want to decentralize power in this country, because anybody that is at the top of our affairs of this becomes like a monarch, and people worship you, people bow down before you because there are no institutions. If we have strong institutions, Bola, we don't. Some of the things, illegalities going on in our country will not go on, because there are channels whereby, imagine what happened in Benue State. It took the president to go there and say, let peace be. No, there are institutions.
We still haven't exactly.
Peace has not even come to Benue State. The cops, people are still being killed. And president went there to make pronouncement because there are no strong institutions that will even affect anything on the ground. You understand? That is the tragedy of our country. And that is why we are saying that this country must be rejigged. We can't continue this way. And the so-called constitutional review is a jamboree, because you don't review what people did not write by themselves. So whatever that is going on in Benue State is a castration of democracy. You understand? If you look at it holistically, you'll understand that we are just playing around. We are just deceiving ourselves. We are not telling ourselves the truth. We are not.
Thank you so much, Chukwemeka. Let's move to another story this morning. The NBS has announced a 4.23% economic growth, and Labour is disagreeing. Now, Nigeria's gross domestic product, according to the NBS, that's the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, has risen by 4.23% year on year in real terms in the second quarter of 2025, according to the latest figures released yesterday by the NBS. They say that this performance was stronger than the 3.48% growth recorded in the same period of 2024, showing that the economy gained momentum despite persistent structural challenges. They explained that the quarterly estimates followed the rebasing of the GDP using 2019 as the base year, allowing comparisons to track the pace of expansion across sectors. Now, senior officials of the Nigeria Labour Congress have challenged the credibility of these figures. They say that, they have failed to capture the worsening conditions faced by workers and households. They say when we talk about GDP growth, the key question is how it impacts the lives of the people.
But let me tell you something. I'm not an economist, but the elementary knowledge of economics that I have tells me that the best way to check growth of any economy is to look at the life of the people. If it is not impacting on the people, it's a ruse. You understand? If you want to know how wealthy or wretched a country is, go to the airport. When you land at the airport, look at the lifestyle, or look at the people. You know that this country is down and out. People live below breadline. And when you go to a country where people are okay, you will know. You look at the citizens, you will understand. How many Nigerians, I said this thing somewhere. I went to a shop sometime to buy something, and a woman walked in and asked to be given half cup of garri. And the woman tied the thing and gave her. And as she was going, she was putting the thing in her mouth. And I asked her, what will she do with half cup of garri? He said, well, maybe that's why what she can buy. The GDP is growing. You see Nigerians, I come here early in the morning every day. People trek. There was a day I was in Kekemarua. The man was lamenting. He said, are they coming from vigil? I said, today is no weekend now. It's just Monday. He said, where are they coming? I said, they are trekking to their offices. Can't they enter Kekemarua again? I said, do they have the money? The GDP is growing. Parents are crying over because of school just resumed. School fees, everything is skyrocketing. It's not even galloping in inflation again. The GDP is growing. Where is the evidence of that growth on the lives of the people? Because that is where you know that this thing, Nigerians, are we better off today than we were years ago? That's the question. When you go to market with 100,000, you come home with something in a nylon bag, the GDP is growing. Where is that evidence? Where is the evidence of that growth? That's the question. That's why I said it's nebulous. Something you read about and you don't get to see it. It's not transparent. It's not real. It's not rooted in reality. If it's rooted in reality, when we collect 70,000 naira minimum wage, we take people to their home. It doesn't even take people to bus stop. No talk of taking them to their home. So where is the GDP growing? Where is the evidence in the lifestyle of the people? That's the question. Nigerians are now beginning to buy things. Now, people are not eating what they want to eat. You eat what is available. The GDP is growing.
Thank you so much, Chukwemeka. Now, there's this conversation between the NBS and Labour. NBS is saying our figures are correct because we have rebased the GDP data. And the Labour is saying, well, that's not our concern. If you decide to, if you have decided to, and basically to our listeners, what it means when they say they rebased the GDP data, in 2019, it means that 2019, was chosen as the reference year to use when calculating the GDP at constant prices. That means that it's the benchmark.
I understand.
I'm just saying for our listeners also.
Okay.
So it means that they're looking at, how
it was before.
It was in 20. When they say before, that means they're looking at 2019. They're not looking at the years before 2019.
Understand.
So they're saying 2019 had relative economic stability. Now, could it be because they have rebased, to look at it against how it was in 2019?
Let me tell you something, Bola. If you look at that word, rebased, you see, I don't want our people to be confused. If you talk of those in power, yes, the economy has improved for them. Yes, it has drastically improved. Governors have a lot of money in their hands because of the removal of fuel subsidy. That's why 21 local government chairman's wife in Adamawa State are going to Turkey for leadership training.
Because they have to be trained on how to lead the country.
Yes, the wives are going to Turkey of all places, for leadership training, local government chairman's wives in Adamawa State. The economy is growing. That's why a governor in the north we take 608 billion or million to go and renovate cemetery. The economy is growing. So when you talk of rebasing, I don't want us to use grammar to confuse our people.
Now, let me bring this in, Chukwuemeka, okay. Even though we'll take a break shortly, but let me ask this question. There has been, lately, there has been a contest of, truth or falsehood with the data that is coming from the government-owned agencies, the likes of the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics and the likes, to say that this, inflation figures, all these figures, the labor constantly, citizens constantly say that these figures are not correct.
Wait, Bola, we are not data-friendly society. A lawyer is now asking the federal government to give us the list of people that benefited. They say they paid how many billion?
People that benefited.
How did you? Transfer. Yes, people that benefited from cash transfer. Nigeria is a modeled up country. We are not data-friendly country, and we don't want to. Don't forget that the former National Population Commission, when Festus Oduekun wanted to be the chairman under Jonathan, and the man said, let us do the normal thing so that we know how many we are in this country. They removed him. They put pressure on Jonathan to remove him because Festus Oduekun wanted to do something that nobody has ever done in this country. And because they want to bring people who will come and lie to us that, this place, people are more in number here. Because of political exigencies. We are not data-friendly people. We lie with figures. We lie with everything. So how do you expect us to say? National Bureau of Statistics, they have come up with so many things that are questionable. And this one is one of them. How do we come and tell us this thing is happening? And if you look at the economy and you are exposed, you will understand that what they are telling us does not tally with what is on the ground. Because we play with figures. We lie with figures in this country a lot. Manipulate figures during an election, manipulate it during everything. Even a registration of birth and death. People still lie about it because there's no transparency. If we are transparent people, you come up and tell me, okay, 1 million people are living in Oduekun Estate. We'll understand. Do you know in a normal country, they know how many people that are living in a county, that's the local government, because it will help them to plan. When you don't know how many people living in a place, how do you plan? You can't plan.
That's a good question. Thank you so much for that, Chukwuemeka. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Perspectives Unlimited will continue. So many things that we still have to talk about. But don't go anywhere. Please stay with us.
Your preferred wholesome radio.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Àbá sọ̀rọ̀ nípa tewétegbò Yẹmí dé ọ̀jìnmìnì nípa ètò ìlera Yẹmí ọmọ Olúṣọládé.
ọ̀rọ̀ tó mọ́gbọ́n wá.
agbára wà nínú ewé àtegbò kí wá ṣe ewé àtegbò yẹ kí wọ́n ti ṣe research sínsìn o yẹ pé rẹ̀ ti wà established.
statistics tó péye.
jẹ́jẹ́ mọ̀ pé worldwide iye àwọn adult ìyẹn àgbàlagbà tí ó ní ìtọ̀ ṣúgà is around 537 million.
ọ̀rọ̀ tó fúnni ní bùkún tó yẹ kóró.
ewédú náà ti mú lọ yẹn o wọ́n ti fi ṣe tablet wọ́n ń tà báyìí wọ́n ló ń wo cancer ewédú jẹ́ pé a máa rà lọ́jà tá a máa jẹ.
ẹ pàdé Yẹmí ọmọ Olúṣọlá Dr. Sayem ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Thursday ní alẹ́ ní aago 8:30 lórí ìkànnì rédíò West 89.3 FM ní ìlú Ìbàdàn. àlàáfíà wa kò ní di fíafíà.
Boost your business with Wells Radio 89.3 FM. In a competitive world of business, strategic brand and product positioning is key to growth. Don't remain unseen in the shadows. Shine a spotlight on your brand with Wells Radio 89.3 FM today. Why Wells Radio? We are your state's #1 family radio station. We connect with the heart of families in your state. As the smallest unit of the society, families trust Wells Radio for quality content and information. Visit us today along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Our white and blue building just before Sharp Corner ensures your business won't go unnoticed. Advertise with us today. Call our marketing office on 0903 936 8185. Call Toby on 0803 509 3394. Ayo on 0706 840-7359. Take the leap today. Let Wells Radio 89.3 FM be the megaphone for your business success. You won't regret it.
Oh yeah, if you like sports wella, make I reason you Sports Assembly on Top World Radio 89.3 FM. You want hear latest gist, analysis wey get vibration.
Firmino excellent, Scott Mark, everybody. Lisandro
He
Martinez.
don't drill them for that final.
Lisandro Martinez no play like say he just dey come
All
back.
transfer rumors.
That one they play 2-1. Na last victory be for Xavi before he carry load comot for Barcelona.
Okay now, Monday to Friday 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. we go run una autori for sports matter, football, basketball, tennis, and even our local sports. If na EPL, e dey. Italian Serie A nko, e dey. Spanish La Liga, e dey. MPFL, no dull yourself. Even predictions wey dey enter, that one sef dey. Sports Assembly on World Radio 89.3 FM. Sports lovers, no shaking. Meet Sam Adeliri, una one and only Sadeliri, and the Sports IQ on top Sports Assembly on World Radio 89.3 FM, where sports matter, they share.
Every action shapes our future. Agriculture is everyone's business. Farmers, traders, consumers, and policymakers. Your choices matter. Remember that every action counts towards a thriving future. Join Daniel Ogunshola on Oro Agbe, the wealth of agriculture, every Tuesday by 1 p.m. on World Radio 89.3 FM. Oro Agbe, every action matters.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
right, you're welcome back to the conversation that matters. Perspectives Unlimited. Taking a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in Nigeria. Right here on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. We're still taking a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in the country. Chukwemeka, yesterday, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, said that the National Assembly is not opposed to President Bola Tinubu's borrowing policy. He insisted that the lawmakers support borrowing as a legitimate tool for funding infrastructure and driving sustainable growth. In the same tone or in the same vein, he then said that the only issue is when borrowing, is corruption. Yes, he said the only issue is corruption. That's what can have a negative effect on corruption, because he says that Nigeria loses about $18 billion annually to financial crimes, which is nearly 3.8% of its GDP. He says that this is driven by corruption, illicit financial flows, and systemic inefficiencies. And so, I'm taking from his words, he said, these leakages undermine our ability to deliver social services, and if properly harnessed, these resources could transform education, healthcare, and infrastructure in Africa. Now, before I hand over to you, Chukwemeka, the speaker was represented by someone at an event about a week or so ago. About 2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago,
where
he was not in support.
He highlighted his fears
about borrowing,
about consistent borrowing in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But now he has said that responsible borrowing. Let's take a look at that word, responsible borrowing.
I want you to tie it with what is happening to Fubara. After he made a pilgrimage to Aso Villa and came out, he started singing from another hymn book. He'll tie it to what this man told us 2 weeks ago, that he was scared about the level of borrowing under this administration.
I mean, let's also note that he was represented by someone
when you somebody representing you, you send the person to say what you want to say. So let us not make excuses. Like anyway, let's not go into that. So he is coming back again to say that yes, we are in support of the borrowing, reckless borrowing, spending
responsible
money, responsible borrowing, and at the same time, he is talking about leakages, which is an indictment on him. If you are borrowing and also you are talking about leakages, why not block the leakages before you borrow? Why not tackle the areas of leakages? Because we have a lot of financial leakages in our system, which is the fuel for corruption. But there is nothing wrong in borrowing. If you are borrowing for production, nothing is wrong with it. If you are borrowing for consumption, a lot of things are wrong with it. Do we borrow? Because we have had this grammar severally. Critical infrastructure, 5% tax on fuel you buy, critical infrastructure. We have had, where is the infrastructure? Where is the critical, where can we see the most and important critical infrastructure are the people, if you ask me. Because if you are borrowing to build bridges, to do this one and do this one, and the people themselves are not well off, they are not even, they are just existing, they are not living, then there's no, the policy is not working. So we are in it already. Buhari borrowed and borrowed, even printed trillions, just like Idi Amin of Uganda, that destroyed our economy. Now we have entered again into borrowing jamboree, and we are not going to see the end of it. We have budget deficits. We have, and government is not scaling down on its expenditure. If you are scaling down on your expenditure, we should show. But we are still living a life of profligacy. You are still getting things that ordinarily you should do with. A nation that is in a deep financial stretch like Nigerians, it is not the citizens that should bear the brunt only. Those in leadership positions should lead by example, so that the citizens will know that we are making sacrifices for the betterment of our country. But whereby you are living in pagan splendor, and the people are just managing to stay afloat, and you are telling us that you are borrowing you are borrowing this money on our behalf. Where is the evidence of the money you have borrowed.
Now,
That's the
let's take a
critical
look
question.
at some of the borrowings that we've done between 2024 and 2025. Now, in June of 2024, the World Bank approved Nigeria's loan request of $2.25 billion for reforms and revenue mobilization.
Just hold on, Bola. Just hold on. The president told us about a month ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that no more borrowing.
Yeah.
He said it. President declared that we have enough funds, no more borrowing. And now we are borrowing again. What is happening?
This was in 2024. In October of 2024 as well, the cabinet approved the borrowing of $618 million to buy military equipment. In quarter one of 2025, we had a total of an external debt of 70.63 trillion naira, domestic debt, just breaking that down. In 2025, May 2025, President Tinubu requested parliamentary approval for external borrowing plan of about $21.54 billion. Still in May, there was a proposal for full external borrowing plans of about 24.14 billion. In July of this year, the Senate approved the President's external borrowing plan for 2025 to 2026. That's 21 billion US dollars to 21.5 US billion dollars that was approved. And in August, a plan to refinance electricity sector debt, 4 trillion naira.
There's something I want to tell you here, Bola. You see why the borrowings are going on and on and on. It's because the Senate is not doing its function of really, because the presidency will come with request. It does not have the money. It's the House that will approve. And that is why every government that comes, they look for a man Friday in the position of a Senate president, so that whatever they bring, it will be approved. Remember, under Buhari, this man, Lawan, told us that he will sign anything as far as it came from Buhari. But it is not their fault. This thing started with Obasanjo. Let's walk back into time.
Before we go there,
okay.
To our dear listener, you can join the conversation this morning. We've enjoyed ourselves so much, that we didn't put that out. You can join the conversation this morning by calling the studio lines. They're open and ready for you. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. I'll take the numbers again. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. These are the numbers to call to be about the conversation.
The good book said that the fathers have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are set on edge. I will go back into time. During our 1999, when Obasanjo came in, you know how many Senate presidents we had? The man who was the Senate president, Chubo Kadibu, was a man you cannot put in the pocket. If you bring something to the House, they will ask you critical questions. Why do you want to spend this money? Tell us, you go and defend it. Obasanjo didn't want that kind of person. They plotted for Okadibo's removal. And that's why the Southeast produced successive Senate presidents, because they were looking for somebody they can ride roughshod over. And that is where the thing has started from that time till now. That's why when people blame Obasanjo for some of the things that are not working in our democracy, they are partly right. Because if we have had robust engagement, the three tiers of government are not for them to be on the same page.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, the energetic, beautiful radio woman. God bless you.
Good morning, Mr. Mario. How do you do?
I'm fine, very much. Thank you. Good morning, sir, Mr. Chukwemeka.
Good morning, sir.
The picture you are painting about Chubo Okadibo, if you remember Chubo Okadibo for what he did when he was the Senate leader, I think he's one of patriots in Nigeria that we have to give his own flower. But look at the present course of leaders we have today in that red chamber. They are nothing to write home about. Instead, they bent on attesting to whatever the executive brought to their table, and which is not too good for democracy. And let me say this for the purpose of our listeners at home, that in Nigeria, we are not practicing democracy. I'm telling you, this is not democracy.
Mr. Mario, but Nigeria is currently in a democracy. We have a president. We have a vice president.
We have a president. So we claim we are running a democracy, But the way and manner we are going about this democracy is not what is entrenched in what we read in books when we are in school. We learned that democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. But failingly, democracy is the government of some selected, some in quotes selected. Look at the money that some governors in our country are receiving as monthly allocation now. Look at what they gave to IBAS. The governor they are just left in Rivers State. He had an access to close to 300 billion naira within the space of 6 months. Close to 3 billion naira within the space of 6 months. I can tell you for free, I've that money better the lot of the Rivers people. And to other governors in Nigeria that are collecting humongous amounts every month from the federal government. What has they brought? What changes have they brought to their various communities? Instead, those governors, they are becoming a billionaire. They are sinking in money every month. So that is to tell you that the democracy we are practicing, it is not democracy. We just call it democracy. That was why I said it's just for selected few. Opportunity few selected Nigerians. Let me leave that alone. And I would like IBA to respect himself by coming to tell the good people of River State how much he has spent the money, 280 something billion naira that was given to him. And the reason why I say we are not practicing democracy, because one of the tenets of democracy is accountability. But in a country where there is no accountability, you can't say you are practicing democracy. That is just my point. So IBA should come and tell us he has spent he collected XYZ and he spent XYZ on whatever. Then the sleeping dog will lie. That is what we want. And lastly, are you with me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, lastly, Fubara was with Mr. President yesterday. He was having a meeting with Mr. President yesterday, and I laughed. We all know that Fubara's conscience has been bought. We all know that Fubara cannot. He was not the governor we know before.
We don't know that. We don't know that, Mr. Mario.
Till last I think May.
We don't know that. He's still Governor Sim Fubara to us.
Yeah, I think Fubara, his conscience has been bought, and I think Fubara is going to dance to the tune of Mr. President, and Fubara is not going to, we shouldn't expect much for him because he cannot decide for himself as we speak, because Mr. President has caged him. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mario.
So
I'd like to ask a question based on what Mr. Mario just said, but just also to remind our listener that the phone lines are open: 0916-893-1000, 0915 333 893, and 0911 893. Let's take this call before we move on. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning to you, madam. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, ma'am. Ruth calling from Alakia.
What? Your name?
Ruth.
Okay.
Ruth.
You're welcome, Ruth. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Fine, thank you. You know, as regards the MBS report, I totally disagree with the report because I've not seen any economic growth among with the masses. Because even the slight reduction in food price is yet to reflect in the lives of the masses. And yet, African Nigerians are still in abject poverty due to their so-called unworkable policies, and the federal government is not even doing anything about it. We keep complaining about insecurity, food crisis, so many things, but they are yet to do anything to address it to the situation. So I just want the federal government, please do the needful. And NBS should come and meet with the masses before giving out any reports next time. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Saying that the NBS needs to look at what's on ground before coming out with their figures.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
Let's take the call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is George. I'm calling you from Oduekun.
Good morning, Mr. George. How are you doing?
Thank God.
You're welcome.
I want to start by thanking Chukwuemeka for the way he's addressing issues. They are very right and correct. And I thank West Radio for bringing up these issues for us to be able to speak and tell the world how things should be. You see, Emeka,
Sir.
Tinubu, Wike, and Ibas, they have just shown Nigerians what exactly is killing this nation. Because if I were to be Ibas, I will start from that first month of my ruling that state. At the end of each month, I will give an open statement of account to the whole world to see. That is what I could have been doing from the first month to the sixth month. This question they are asking him now would have not come up. And everybody will know that they are there to correct the wrongs. But now, they are covering up everything. Even Fubara himself has been bought over. And that is the reason why he started by going to Tinubu and Wike in Abuja before going back to Port Harcourt. Even when Wike was speaking on channels, day before yesterday or so, he also said that people are asking, where's Fubara, where's Fubara? That his whereabouts does not matter. So you can see the problem that we are having. This will not bring any peace to Rivers State because the Rivers people are aggrieved of what the federal government did to their state. And I'm telling you, we might not get any result from this question of giving us account of how you rule the state.
Mr. George, let me ask you a
question. It will not
sir.
make Nigeria to move forward.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Go ahead. You know, I always like to answer your question.
Do you think that this can hurt Fubara's chances, of going for a second term?
Again, I didn't hear you well.
Do you think that this current issue can hurt Governor Siminalayi Fubara's chances of, running for a second term in Rivers State?
It will not. You say whether it will help Fubara to be able to rule the place very well.
Hurt, not help this time around. Can it work against him, in getting a second term in Rivers State?
He has not finished the first time. You are talking of second term. Let's finish this first term first now. That is where the error is now. So we are not doing the right thing. The right thing, you can't get a right answer. You cannot even finish it because there may be a problem in between now and the end of the first time. Thank you. Let me stop there for now.
Thank you so much, Mr. George. We value your contribution. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, 0911-3333-893. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Your name and where you're calling
Primate Shitu is calling all the way from Gariki.
Oh, you're welcome, Primate. How are you doing this morning?
We thank God.
All right,
I want to appreciate callers on this program. But this morning I am going to take up Mr. Emeka. we will not always have it together. We will not be having peace as long as he talks the way he talks on the program. I feel he should be balancing his report. But I come to see that the way the report is let out by him is like there is a target on the present government that, look, you are not doing it well at all.
Primates, can we be specific to a particular story or a particular, talk this morning?
Hello?
Hello, sir. Can we be specific to a particular story that we've talked about this morning?
That is why I'm coming up this morning. It started with the issue of this River State governor's yesterday. And he's still hammering on it. And he's a journalist. He knew that this man is not an elected governor. He was sent not as a governor of the state, but an administrator. That means a mission. The state is in a kind of mess. Just go there and calm the situation. He's not going there to act as a governor. He's an administrator. He's a military man. I told him yesterday, and he failed to realize it. All military that has done whatever in this country, which one have you hold accountable? So the House of Assembly is talking about, were they at work when the man was an administrator? He was hiding under, we say because something is bad, let it continue. And I asked him the second question, if you don't want it to continue, who among we callers that have been calling this morning can stop it?
Now,
let me spoil Mr. Emeka more this morning.
Hello, Prime
Several states today.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. But surely, just like every other person who's calling, and just like yourself, he's entitled to his opinion on this show as an analyst.
No. I don't think analysts should have that kind of one-sided reportage. I'm fighting about one side. I'm saying the reportage should be balanced. And if you can allow me, let me speak for God's sake. Now, listen to me. Now, if you look at it very well, almost all the states in Nigeria, their governors have signed a kind of retirement benefit that even after they leave office, they will collect fat salaries, go to America, and have endless staff being paid from the state resources. Who has come out to fight it? Who has come out to say no to it? I'm trying to understand where I'm going. I want it to balance things. Now, this thing has been like that, and for we to it is not by just coming on air to blame one man. We don't need to blame anybody, blame all of us. The second thing he has raised this morning is the complaint that Nigerians are suffering. He only balanced that issue on one side. You put it together and see the type of Nigerians that are enjoying and the new things you are seeing in Nigeria. You ask yourself questions, and Nigerians truly suffering. Now look at these indices, for instance. How many Muslims with billions of naira went to Mecca last year? Nigerians are suffering. I am a Christian. I belong to the Pilgrimage Board of Nigeria. How many Christians went to Jerusalem 4 times in a year, which runs into millions, and Nigerians are suffering? Have you noticed the new trend now that Nigerians are now building houses under 3-4 months? Under 3-4 months, they will buy land, complete a whole house, and Nigerians are suffering. Look at the number of money former presidents of this nation are collecting, former senators and president senators, federal legislators, governors, and things like that. When you come to look at the indices, you come to know that it is the people at the low trending that is suffering. And these low trending are the same people who will give these people power to rule over them. So there is a confusion somewhere. I want the reportage to be balanced. And to blame federal government, blame the people for making it possible for illegality to come all the time to rule them. I want a balanced reportage. That is what I'm asking for this morning.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution, Primate. But surely you must know that just like yourself, everyone who calls on this show and our analysts have the right to their opinions. As you have said, it's the lower cadre of Nigerians that are suffering, and that's what we're saying.
Suffering. Nobody's suffering.
The lower cadre of Nigerians are suffering, and whether you're on the lower cadre or the higher cadre, as a Nigerian, we should be able to enjoy our democracy, which is also the part of where we should be able to enjoy our government. Thank you to everyone who's still trying to call. Now, I think that call has unleashed a barrage of calls, but we won't be able to take the calls again this morning. We can't take the calls anymore. But thank you so much for contributing to this show. But let's not forget, in as much as we have the right to our contribution, every other person on this show, well, myself except myself, also has the right to contribute what they think on this show. Let's not get that wrong. That's it on the show this morning. My name is Bolanle Oduekun. Are your light spin perspectives unlimited? But don't forget, AM Sports is coming up right now with Sir Dillery, ready to give you the latest in the world of sports. Good morning. Thank you so much, Ukwemeka.
Thank you for having me, Bola.
Thank you to everyone who
May
called.
God save Nigeria.
Bye-bye.